Hi, it's Ursula from EasyScraps.com, and today I'm going to finish up a project that I had started in a different video, and I'll link that video from this blog post. But I wanted to show you, this is the Tim Holtz Kraft Glassine that I've used gesso, clear gesso, through a stencil. And the nice thing about this is things that wouldn't typically stick very well to the Kraft Glassine will now stick to the gesso, and so you'll get this cool look with kind of lights and darks. So I'm going to run through quickly a bunch of different things that you can use, and let's get started. Hope you enjoy this video. So the first thing I'm going to use is the Distress Stain. And I have a really small piece, I'm just going to do little pieces. So I'm going to rub just like a corner using the Distress Stain. And if you keep going over, you'll get darker and darker. So you can wipe some of it off the Kraft Glassine. So I don't know if you can see that. It kind of sticks and gives the color to the stenciled part, but it doesn't stick as well to the Kraft Glassine. So that's the Distress Stain with the dauber top. Generally what I use is the sprays, and we'll do that last. But you can also use ink pads. So here's Stormy Sky. So I'm just going to use this corner over here and go over with the ink pad. And again, you can see that it sticks to the gesso, but not the Kraft Glassine. So let's turn it. I'm going to try this. I haven't tried this, so we'll wing it and see if it works. I'm using a wax water-soluble pastel, and so I'm going to color with that and then spritz it with some water. Cool. Oh, that works actually really well. Ha! Yay! And then with that, let me see if I can grab another color quickly. You can bring in some other colors and mix, kind of on the fly. I just wiped most of that off. But you kind of get the drift, so you can play around with that a little bit. So that's the water-soluble pastels. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll leave it sit wet, and so it will dry onto the gesso and kind of give that mottled look, which I really like. Pull in a little more yellow there. Okay, so that's good enough. All right, so that works. So far we've done ink pads, daubers, and Distress Stain daubers, and the water-soluble pastels. And so generally what I do is I use the sprays. And so, I don't know if you have any of these new sprays. These are really bright, the Dilutions sprays. Here's another color. Actually, I'll use this color because that's kind of in the color scheme that we're going with. So you can just spritz. And you can leave it, like I love that look. I don't know if you can see that, where it's dark and then kind of goes light. So I would probably leave that. And then generally what I'll do is I'll come over with something that's shimmery, because of course I have to have shimmer and everything. So these are just the Glimmer Mist by Tattered Angels. I'm trying to spray without paying attention and watching what I'm doing. So, and again, I would let that dry that way, because I like the look of the dark and the light, and it kind of mixes together. I might go in and kind of soak up some of that. It's not quite so dark. But that's how I would leave it, and then I would let it dry. I could actually heat it with a heat gun if I wanted to speed it along. But that's part 2 of the Kraft Glassine with clear gesso. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Hi, it's me again. I just wanted to show you the results of the colors we spritzed. We used daubers, etc. on the Kraft Glassine. So here's the results after it's dried. I wanted to point out, though, I tried to speed things along and used a heat gun to dry it rather than letting it air dry. And I forgot that heat will actually activate the Kraft Glassine and hold on to color better than if you just let it air dry. So you'll see some of the areas are darker and have color where they would normally just be the Kraft Glassine with the technique that I was showing you. So anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.